Greetings, I'm Self-Same Spot, and this is Bram Stoker's Dracula, the game based on the film Bram Stoker's Dracula, based on the book Dracula that was by Bram Stoker, but not called Bram Stoker's Dracula. It would have been a bit egotistical, I think, to have your name in the title of that, especially since I believe it was his first book. Look at this. I mean, the wonderful sky. It's purple and pink. That is definitely 1990s Transylvania. And in this game, one plays Jonathan Harker as one goes through a rough rendition of the plot of the game and book, and attempts to escape the machinations of the evil count, whose name you will know. I played this game because I've always had a fascination with these movie games, these games based on films, particularly these ones from the SNES 16-bit era. They have a certain quality and nostalgia that I find pleasing, so I'm going to play this. I have to say the game does not look great, but I am fond of the film. It's an interesting film. I've often said it's a film that's very much not greater than the sum of its parts. You know, lots of individual bits are good, but it doesn't really add up. Francis Ford Coppola, the filmmaker, seems to have kind of pioneered chaos filmmaking, as they call it, in the construction of the movie. Yeah, filming lots of stuff and then sort of hoping it'll come together at the end. And I don't know if it did always. Apparently, rather a tumultuous shoot. What I know of it is mostly from the excellent book With Nails, which are the film diaries of the actor Richard E. Grant, which I highly recommend. Pick up a copy if you like, if you're interested in actors. He has a rather exuberant writing style. But in that, he describes the huge fights there were between Coppola, particularly, and leading man Gary Oldman, who played Dracula. Of course, we all know from his many fine roles, including Commissioner Gordon. Anyway, yes, Oldman wasn't very taken with Coppola's method, which was definitely the method. You know, he was very much into method acting and the idea of, you know, affecting your actors psychologically to put them in the right frame of mind to really play the part. And so he would he insisted all the actors read through the book together, you know, try and get a feeling for their characters. It was all read it aloud in these big table reads that lasted a long time. Then once that was finished, they had to come back with suggestions for additional scenes and things they want to add, you know, which is like giving your actors homework. So I can imagine that might be irksome. Watch out there. Anyway, Gary Oldman disagreed with this. The running battles and apparently tables overturned, and you know, angry words exchanged, but he's still pretty good in the movie. But, you know, he may have had a point, you know. I mean, by the sound of things, when the actors eventually got on set, they didn't really know exactly what was expected of them. They'd rehearsed a great deal, but didn't have much of a concrete idea of what's going on. Now, this is Van Helsing, and he has not offered me a sword. He wants me to get him a sword, which is communicated to me via pictographs rather than via language. Here we are. There we go, got the sword. There we go, I can now slash a decent way, and I believe a path should open up for me. Now, in this game, of course, I am playing Jonathan Harker. In the movie, was played by Keanu Reeves, a gentleman not of a great acting reputation. And in fact, he was particularly bad in, I have to say, in Bram Stoker's Dracula, awful British accent. I think he himself said that he wasn't quite up on form. He blamed tiredness, but to be honest, I think he was rather miscast. Francis Ford Coppola later admitted that he mostly cast him just to try and get the teenage girl audience interested, as he put it, you know, sort of the hangers-on, the Keanu fans, the Keanuites, or the Keanuettes, or whatever his fan base called themselves at the time. He tried to get Joy Depp, but he wouldn't do it. Yeah, oh, I got killed by a rock in the face. I have to try and concentrate a bit more, but I'm thinking a lot about the movie. I say there are many great things about the movie. Fantastic costumes by I can't remember quite the name of the lady. Aiko something. She's designed the costumes, and they were these wonderful things with a sort of an interesting sort of Japanese influence added to the Victorian Gothic style, particularly all the count's robes and the wigs and so on. But the design in general was pretty nice. Coppola didn't want to use too many digital effects in the movie. So, despite the producer's protestations, he mainly used old-fashioned effects such as double exposures and mirrors and all sorts of things to create the various effects for the film. And now, speaking of the costumes, I think there's one coming up here that's quite interesting. Oh, here we are. Now, see, this fellow is actually Dracula. This is Dracula dressed up as the I heard it quite a lot. Dressed up as the coachman, his own coachman, because Dracula's ego is such that he can't bear to admit to anyone that he doesn't have any servants. So what he does is he dresses up as a coachman when he comes to pick up Jonathan Harker. There we are. He was very tough, died very quickly. Yeah, so that's Dracula in that big coat. In the book, it is quite clear that he picks up Jonathan Harker himself whilst dressed as a coachman, and then cooks Jonathan Harker a meal and pretends that in fact he has a cook that made it. Just because his noble pride won't let him admit that he doesn't have any servants. He's just a lonely old guy in his castle, just sort of bumming around like a really depressing episode of Come Dine With Me. I believe the beginnings of the Dracula movie were Winona Ryder actually brought the script forward to Ford Coppola's attention. And they were keen to work with each other again after having an unfortunate falling out at the end of and I believe she exited Godfather Part 3. That's probably a wise move on her part. I think it made money too. I mean, it's not been critically lauded in recent years, Bram Stoker's Dracula, but I believe it made its money back. Oh, I've got a gun. Okay, not going to mess with me now, especially those bloody flies. I'll try and save the gun for if I fight a boss. That's usually my methodology when I get a powerful weapon, but I shall see. I am my last legs. Ah, but there's the exit. I'll just get down there. Get out of here. Oh no, I've been killed. Still got a gun though, good, so I shall hold tight onto that. As I say, most of what I know about the Dracula film comes from Richard E. Grant's book. He also got to work with Tom Waits, the legendary singer-songwriter who played Renfield in the Bram Stoker's Dracula. And I have to say, rather good casting. Ah, there we are. Leave we're here. There we are, blown everyone up in the process. Really good. Yes, Tom Waits, very good casting as Renfield. He had to eat a lot of insects on the set. I mean, he was always popping them in his mouth, bugs and flies and things. And they had an insect wrangler on the set. Sounds quite disgusting, but apparently he was a trooper and didn't complain too much. It sounds like a very pleasant chap to work with. It's also interesting the way they adapt Dracula, because Dracula's quite a sprawling book, and there's lots of ways to go of it, but they usually go for a pretty straight version of the story. But often, the main aspects they'll change as they'll try and either expand it to add more sort of action, which they rarely do, or they'll cut it down and have it all in like one location, so all the action, rather than having it split between Transylvania and London, mainly takes place in London, or in the Hammer version, Transylvania. This bit is rather difficult, I seem to recall. I'm going to have to there we are. Just have to shrug it off and go for it. Take out Knox. Now, apart from Keanu Reeves, I mean, the rest of the cast are far more interesting. As I say, Winona Ryder was played Mina. Lucy was played by Sadie Foster, I believe. And there was also, of course, the legendary Anthony Hopkins playing Van Helsing. Not my favourite interpretation of that part. Personally, I do like a bit of Peter Cushing in that role, but still, we know how to bring his acting chops to it all. Another strong aspect to the movie was the sound. There was excellent, some very good sound design, and also some fantastic music by Wojciech Kieljar, who came up with this fantastic groaning gothic noise that he used for the soundtrack, which was quite evocative of the old Hammer films and the sort of big organ pieces you get on there. Very good sound. As I say, so many good bits in the movie, but just the movie itself wasn't that great. Well, unsatisfying, and the conclusion does feel muddled. It feels like the end of Batman 89. I say this kind of movie, of course, this is the vastly inferior game of the movie, and frankly, from what I've played of it so far, I'm not too impressed. It's very slashy, it feels a bit imprecise. Of course, the big problem that it has, which all this genre of game has, is that it's not Castlevania. I mean, if you're going to have a platform game with a fellow fighting vampires and skeletons and monsters, then you're going to just think of Castlevania, and Castlevania this ain't, you know. Basically, it could be Castlevania and Ghouls or Ghosts, perhaps, but neither of those is. Well, this is just a sort of shadow of those kind of games. I do miss Castlevania. They were fun games when they were around before they jumped the shark massively with the last couple of games. They didn't even play the last one. It just wasn't my kind of thing. Managed to light the torch. Excellent. So, I mean, there are many variations from the book. The main one was the romance between Dracula and Mina, that isn't in the book, you know. Dracula's a very sort of predatory, bestial figure in the book, and obviously they tried to make him romantic for the film, and most they succeeded in that, but I'm not a big fan of romantic Dracula. I like the idea of the sort of the bitter old aristocrat rotting away in his tomb. Got a metal girders here, those metal. Oh, who have we got now? Let's see, maybe it's the Brides of Dracula. No, it's a dragon. It's a great big dragon. Dracula has a big dragon in his basement. I have to say, I was not expecting a dragon, you know, I mean, there we are. I was not expecting a dragon. I can say quite confidently that there were no dragons in the book of Dracula. And what's more, I don't even think they were in the film. He turns into a bat at one point, he turns into a wolf, but he doesn't turn into a dragon, so I'm confused about where this one came from, but I'm sure there's a logical explanation. Maybe they just couldn't think of any more bosses for Dracula. He was a member of the Order of the Dragon, I suppose, so maybe if you are a member of the Order of the Dragon, they give you a free dragon as a sort of pet, like in the movie Aragorn. Ah, bloody hell. So I was taken aback slightly then. I looked away, and there were the Brides of Dracula themselves chasing me. One of the Brides of Dracula was in the movie was played by Monica Bellucci. Spider swine. So it's awfully misty. I wonder if this is. I mean, Dracula can actually turn into mist in the movie and also the book. And I wonder if I'm actually inside Dracula now, wandering around in his mist. You know, that would be both humiliating and a bit strange. Oh, the brides are still coming. I'm going to keep moving here. Keep going this way. Beware, another boss. That was very quick. And it's him. It's the Drac himself. Okay, we have. He is shooting a sort of Mortal Kombat style burst at us, and there's a force field. I don't know if he's shooting at us or if he's shooting at one of these poor skeleton chaps here. It's obviously not forgiven him for whatever the crime it was for which he was locked up. Dracula wearing that fantastic red robe he wears in the movie, with that bizarre wig. In the movie, they did a very interesting job of having Dracula age backwards, as he does in the books. I'm not overly convinced by this little theme for Dracula. That sort of horn sound does have a bit of a sort of whoopee cushion quality. Yes, Dracula, you're very clever. You can emit pellets from your fingers. That's what he reminds me of, the bad guy in Mortal Kombat. What was his name? Shang Tsung. Yes, he's like Shang Tsung. It's like a very tall, very annoying Shang Tsung. He even has a similar taste in robes. And he's gone. There we are. There we are. Dracula has been dispelled, you know, rather more easily than I imagined. Stakes were not required, just my slashing sword. The righteous slashing sword of Keanu Reeves. It does sound like an interesting film to have been on a fly on the wall, sort of watching as it was filmed, you know, and the rehearsals in particular. Apparently, Francis Ford Coppola has, or if he still has, or if he had a big estate in Napa Valley in California, and that's where all the cast were. They were staying in guest houses and things, you know, and he was getting them together. You know, it sounds almost a bit like the film Frank, if you've seen the film Frank, when the band is all sort of stuck together somewhere until the slightly eccentric creative artists in the heart of it all is prepared to unleash them and sort of allow their work. I'm not having to go out. I just kill this rat. There we go. One of these blasted drunks, they just lie down throwing bottles at you. It's most uncouth. Well, let's wait. And there's a ghost horse, a skeletal horse. I don't call any skeletal horses in Dracula, but there it is. I'm sure my favourite version of Dracula is. You know, I am quite fond of Nosferatu, the original Murnau. It has this sort of good eerie quality, even though the main character's ears do look a bit silly these days. Van Helsing wants a stick. Okay, if I see a stick for you, Van Helsing, I'll grab it for you. Oh, I could just exit. Screw the stick, I think I'm just going to get out of here. The sets were very impressive, in Dracula as well. Filmed on these big sound stages in California, I believe in Los Angeles, when they were replicating bits of Transylvania and also big bits of London. You know. And there's an interesting thing is that the technique that Francis Ford Coppola used. Now, damn it, these skeletons. I'm trying to talk about Francis Ford Coppola's revolutionary cinematic techniques, skeletal bastards. But yes, he well, it wasn't anything revolutionary. He basically, for the scenes in which you see from the vampire's point of view, he used a cine camera rigged up to skip out certain frames and give a sort of juddering, effect, which is very similar to the effect Steven Spielberg would later go on to use in Dead Again. Okay, then let's continue. It was very similar to the effect Steven Spielberg would go on to use in Saving Private Ryan when he wanted to evoke World War II style newsreel footage. So you get that sort of, the film is full of these clever techniques and good shots and good little performances and great costumes, and then the plot is just a bit loose and the end is unsatisfying. It just doesn't really have doesn't hang together overall, which is a great tragedy, I think. I mean, not too much of a tragedy, as I say. The film made money, so the cast didn't do too badly, and I believe the film actually won 3 Oscars. I think 2 were definitely effects. I believe the costumes were. If not, they said it should have, but there's definitely a sound editing one. There's some such thing one. Right. Okay, a fireman cut the bridge for some reason. I don't know why they'd do that. Firemen usually helpful rather than maybe they're evil firemen working for Dracula. As the Transylvania Fire Department is under his thumb. It's been corrupt for years now, and I think we deserve to be told. There's wolves everywhere. This is like Fangorn Forest. It's full of these horrible spider things, and there's wargs or wolf-wargs or whatever the hell they're called in the Tolkien thing. I'm sure I had a gun at some point. But I lost my gun when I continued. I didn't even shoot it. I suppose I'm not a gun expert, and I'm not really into guns, but still, I could use that thing polish off one of these creatures. Oh, who have we got now? Oh, it's the Brides of Dracula. The Brides of Dracula. One of them is Monica Bellucci, the others are not. Oh, I think I did it. I killed them. I think they killed me, but I killed them. We kill each other? Oh, no. I'm still alive and they are dead. Therefore I win. Fantastic. Good, good, good. Okay, we are soldiering on through this rather... Oh, not good game. Okay. Jump up here. Now, much as I like the Murnau Nosferatu movie, I'm not a big fan of the Herzog version, the Werner Herzog version. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it has, as I say, it has some good bits in it, but it's not. It's just not. It's dull, honestly. Honestly, it's a deeply dull film. Of course, Kinski's creepiness can't save that. How am I supposed to get up here? There's some kind of Super Meat Boy style physics puzzle. Am I supposed to bounce off the wall? Okay. Right. There seems to be... It looks like a killer nun. Yeah, evil ghost nuns. Now, I do not remember Dracula having any evil ghost nuns. Definitely no, not. He had these gypsies that helped him, and he had various creatures and so on, some of which were actually him in disguise, but I don't recall nuns. I don't recall any nuns in Dracula. And there's sort of a few nuns in the movie. I believe that Jonathan Harker comes to a monastery or nunnery or somewhere and seeks shelter after he has escaped from the clutches of Dracula's brides, but I don't recall any evil nuns that worked for Dracula. Quite an interesting angle, you know, something to add. Hello, Van Helsing. He has been mad, man. Oh, I see. Oh, yes. Very good. I have got to get the dynamite, which is on the other side there. Just kill this rat. There's a bed there if you fancy a bit of a sleep. Be quite useful at this point. I'm not sure about some pillars you can walk through and some you can't. I don't know if it's visually earmarked that well. There's one of them. Let's see how tough his things are. No, not that tough at all. Take this, you nun. This'll teach you for beating orphans in the 60s. Yes, I've got the dynamite. Now if I am right, then just having the dynamite means that somewhere a door will have opened, and I shall be able to proceed to the next level in this odd Dracula adaptation that just seems to be so far a protracted version of Harker's escape from Transylvania. They haven't even really done his arriving in Transylvania, which is one of the most interesting parts of the book and the film. I would have thought, you know, would that be worthy of a level, you know, going through a village for the villagers saying, go back, go back. No, you don't want to stay here, young man. And then, you know, you'd have a... Oh, do I have to blow this place up? Going to try and do that. I'm going to have to try and go through here. I will use a... so far the dynamite not much good. Yes, this is all just been Jonathan Harker's escape from Castle Dracula. I hope I'll be getting to London at some point. Of course, originally Stoker was going to call his book Count Vampire, which is also the name of the main character, but he changed his mind after having a conversation with someone about the historical Vlad Tepes. Of course, Dracula takes his apparent historical credentials from those stakes. If they are stakes, I might have to keep them, just in... to be honest, I always kind of save all my special items when I get them, for if I think I'm definitely going to need them. I might have to save those for Dracula himself, since they seem the kind of thing that you could use to stop him. Let's get going. And we're outside again. I'm detecting a certain pattern in these levels. We're inside. Oh, zombies! Okay, they've just straight up added zombies into the mix. Alright, how does one change one's weapons? Can't change your weapons, it's a bit of a disappointment. Let's just get away from the zombies as fast as I can. They seem pretty tough. Yep, Dracula has recruited zombies to help him. It's, frankly, I'm not sure I approve. Dracula and zombies don't really mix. I mean, they're two fundamentally different kind of monsters. You know, it's like having like the Phantom of the Opera doing a thing with Jason Voorhees. You know, they don't really. They're both horrifying, but they don't really belong together. Okay, that's not the way to go. Right, the stakes don't seem to do them much harm. I'm just going to try and get as far over this way as I can. Just keep going. Don't confront, just jump. That's the other thing I remember. Most people will probably remember the Bram Stoker's Dracula was his advertising campaign. Sort of big stone Dracula faces everywhere with "Love never dies." Oh, I found a secret. I found a secret completely by coincidence, and now it's going to kill me. This is ridiculous. How am I supposed to survive this? No, I didn't survive this. Is that it? Am I done? Yes, I'm afraid I am done. That's it. My journey ends here. But, well, this was Bram Stoker's Dracula, the video game. I believe this was actually developed by Traveller's Tales, who later on, of course, in recent years have had much success with the fantastic LEGO games, which I enjoy very much. Unlike this game, which frankly was a bit clunky, and as I said before, was not Castlevania. Please come back, Castlevania. We forgive you. Always forgive them. Please just come back. Well, I want to thank you very much for watching. This has been Same Sport. I want to thank Francis Ford Coppola and Richard E. Grant for his wonderful book With Nails, which is why I got all the stuff I was rambling about. And thank you for watching. Good night, and please beware. And if you care to, remember, try placing a little clove of garlic above your door, because that'll keep the Count and his minions away. Good night, and may the Dark Lords bless you.